what is the difference between var, let and const? Before discussing the difference, let us discuss why we are using var, let and const. These are used to declare variables. So what is a variable? Variable is a container that we use to hold values during program execution. Okay. So JavaScript is a loosely typed language, means we don't have to state the type of variable. We can just declare it, and JavaScript will automatically figure out which type of variable this is. Okay. So now let us see with example. Let us create a file index.html and open it any text editor, that may be your Visual Studio Code or any other text editor that you like. In this tutorial, I will use Notepad++, a free text editor, and then double click the file and open in browser, and then open your console. So how to open console? Right click and click inspect. Then here in more tabs, choose console. Okay. Now let us write here in the program var x equal Subrat console.log x. Generally console.log we are using for debugging purpose. Okay. So in this tutorial we will not display anything on our screen, we will display everything on console. So now this is displaying on screen. Why? Because I did a silly mistake. I have not used script tag. Generally, as I am using Visual Studio Code and writing these files in a separate JavaScript file and linking that to the main HTML. So when we are writing a separate JavaScript file, we don't have to write script tag. So that is the error, nothing else. Now let us refresh it. So we can see Subrat in console, but we don't see anything in our main web page. Okay. Now let us write let y equal Subrat and console.log y. Similarly, let us write const g equals Subrat and console.log g. Okay. Now let us refresh the web page. See, we can see Subrat, Subrat and Subrat, means all three declarations are working fine. Then why we need three types of different keywords in JavaScript? Okay, if they are doing the same thing? No, they are not doing the same thing. So what is the difference? That we will discuss in this class. Var can be declared without initialization, let can be declared without initialization, but const cannot be declared without initialization. What does it mean? Here, this statement has actually two different parts, declaration and initialization, and both I did simultaneously. So if I separate these two parts, if I write only var x, means I am declaring x. So what does it mean? Let us refresh this and see our console. Okay, sorry. Okay, so see our console, it is showing undefined, means we have declared that variable but not stored any value. Okay, so its default value is undefined. Now let us do the same thing for y and see the output. Yes, it is also saying undefined. Now let us do same thing for g and let us see the output. Sorry. Okay, let us see the output. So it is saying missing initializer in const declaration. So if you want to be a good programmer, then you have to keep an eye on these type of errors. If you know the errors, if you know what is its solution, then you can debug a program easily. And if you can debug a program easily, then you can be a good programmer. Because most of the time, I think the programmer stuck in debugging somewhere at any point. They stuck for days and days, maybe 2 days, 3 days, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. But if you know the problem, if you know the error, exactly what happened, then you can debug it easily. Okay, I am saying about junior programmers, the new programmers who are learning the programming. I am talking about them, not about senior programmers. Okay, now let us write here G equal Subrat and refresh it. Okay, so this means where and let keyword can be used to declare, and later on we can initialize that. But if you are using const keyword, then you have to initialize that variable at the time of declaration. Okay, then can be redeclared within scope, but these two cannot be redeclared. So what is scope, we will discuss later. Now let us see. Suppose I am redeclaring it. Okay, and let us refresh this. So it is saying identifier y has already been declared. Okay, showing error for y but not for x. See, it is not showing any error for x, but I wrote it 2 times. So I have declared the variable 2 times. Okay, let us see the same thing about const. It will display error that z already been declared. Okay, but why we will do that? Are we mad? Okay, why we will declare it 2 times? It is just a sample program, an example program. I am trying to explain you, I am teaching you. But when you write a real world project, definitely there will be thousands of lines. So sometimes you may forget which variable you have already declared, and you may redeclare it again. Okay, at this case, suppose I am writing let y again. I have previously used the same name, but again I am redeclaring. Okay, so it will display me error. So what I will do? I need a variable definitely. So I will assign a new name. Let us say y1. y1 and y are 2 different names. Okay, so if you are using var keyword and within the same scope you are redeclaring again, then it will not display you in error. So it may affect your results. How? Let us see. Suppose I am writing var x equals Subrat, and then I will write var x equal Ramesh. Okay, now let us see the output. So my output is Ramesh, right? And as I said, these may be at 2 different portions, and maybe after the second declaration I need somewhere the first one, but when I use that variable I will get the output of the second one, not the first one. Okay, so sometimes you may see a different result and without any error, right? So you will check console log, there is no error, but still you are not getting the result. So you may confuse. As a beginner, you may confuse. So that's why instead of where, we should use let. So nowadays generally let and const, these 2 keywords we are using to declare a variable. Okay, then next point, can be reassigned a new value for both var and let, but not for const. Let us see. Suppose I am writing x equal Ramesh. Here suppose I am writing x equal Ramesh. Sorry, y equal Ramesh. So what I did here, I created a variable x and initialized it with the value Subrat. Then again I reinitialized with a new value, that is Ramesh. In this case, I used let keyword to declare a variable and as well as I initialized with the value Ramesh. But then, here let us say Subrat, and then I re-initialized with Ramesh. Okay. Now let us refresh the browser. So in both the cases, we are getting the result Ramesh. Means yes, re-initialization is allowed in both the cases. But now let us see the const one. Let us write g equal Ramesh, or you can write anything. Okay, I am just writing two names. You can write anything as per your choice. It is completely up to you. Okay. So let us refresh it. So it is saying assignment to constant variable, type error. Okay, means we are trying to reassign a constant variable and which is not allowed. Okay. The next one, functionally or globally scoped, and these two are block scoped. So what does it mean? Let us see. I will erase everything. So let us write var x equals Subrat. Now let us create a function print x and then console.log x. Okay. Now let us call this function print x. Okay, and now refresh it. So see, it is printing Subrat. So this Subrat variable is initialized outside of the function, but still it can be accessed from within the function. Okay, so that's why we are saying var has global scope. Okay, but here we have written functionally or globally scoped. So what does it mean? Now let us say var x equal Ramesh. Okay. Now what will be the output? So it is Ramesh. Why? Because within the function we have a variable with same name x. So when we are executing this statement console.log x, it is trying to find the variable within the same function. If it exists, then it will access that one. If not exist, then it will find in global scope. Okay. Now let us see another one. Suppose we will use here. Okay. So this console statement is outside of the function. So which variable it will print? Let us refresh it. See, it is printing Subrat. Let us write here outside of function. Okay. So outside of function Subrat means it has global scope, and this one function scope. Okay. So we can write here global scope instead of out of function. Okay. So now see, this is our global scope variable and this is function scope variable. Okay. So this x we cannot access outside of the function. Okay. Now let us say we remove this one. I used a double slash to remark this sentence because I need it later. So I am not erasing. Okay. Now let us refresh it. So it is saying that x is not defined. Let us remove this one. Yes. Okay. So it is saying x is not defined. But here x is there. But that x is within our print x function. So that is functionally scoped. Okay. So what we understood? If we are declaring any variable within a function, then we can say that functionally scoped. So that cannot be accessed outside of the function. Okay, that scope is within that function. Okay, now you understood what is scope. And if we are declaring a variable outside of the scope, then we can access that within the function as well as we can access throughout the program. That is called globally scoped. Okay. Now let and const, these two are block scoped. So what does it mean? Let us see. Actually in real world we will not write programs like this, but as it is just an example to understand the block scope, so we will make it simple. Okay, so let us write var number equal 5. Okay, so let us write here if number is greater than 10, where x equal large number, else we are x equal small number. Okay, and we will console log this one and we will say it block scope plus x, and here also we will write another console log block scope plus x. Okay, now let us see the output. So refresh it. X is not defined. var x at line number 14. Yes, this one. So now let us refresh it. So see, it is saying Subrat. Okay, this one 15. Okay, let us move it after this line and write here global scope. Okay, now let us refresh it. So block scope small number, function scope small number, and global scope Subrat. Okay, so see what is the problem here, because var don't have block scope, it has either function scope or global scope. So within this function we have once declared var. So see, at this point we have already declared within this function, right? And var we can redeclare again. So when we are redeclaring here, it replaced the value of from s with large number, and if it is executing this line, then it will replace with small number, and this execution is based on this number. Suppose this number is less than 5, then it will redeclare this line. Okay, this if statement means it is checking this condition if number is greater than 10. If it is true, then this block of statement will execute, otherwise this block of statement will execute. Now it is true, so this block is executing. Sorry, number is greater than 5, no, it is false, so this block is executing. So we are getting this one small number. Okay, and as this Ramesh is replaced with this new declaration, new assignment, so when we are printing within the same scope, we are getting small number again. Okay, but it will not affect the global scope, right? Now let us change it with our const to see the difference between these two. So what I will do, I will just comment these lines and okay, let us do one thing. I will create a new file, paste it there, and here I will change this function scoped x to let. Instead of where, I will use let everywhere. Okay. So what I did here, outside of function still it is where, but within function I changed to let. Okay, so let x equal Ramesh. If number is greater than 10, let x equal large number, else let x equal small number. So now we have a function scoped variable and a block scoped variable. Block scope, what is block? This is a block, this is a block. If this condition is true, then this true block will execute. If this condition is false, then this false block will execute. Okay, and within this block we are redeclaring the variable. So actually it will not be redeclared, it will create a new declaration, and its scope is within this block, not outside of the block. So when outside of the block we are trying to assess this, it will assess this variable, this function scope variable. Okay, so let us test it. So refresh it. See, block scope variable has the value small number, but in function scope the value is Ramesh. Okay, so now we have three different variables with same name. X, X and X name are same, but here we have a block scope variable. Okay, and here we have a function scope variable, and here we have a global scope variable and function scope variable and block scope variable. Okay, now let us do a little modification. Let us make it 15. So now what will print? Yes, now it will print large number. Let us refresh it. See, large number. Okay, so within block scope now it is executing this true block. Okay, and same thing will be happen for constant also. So now you understood what is the difference between functionally or globally scoped and block scoped. Okay, in our next class we will discuss some more interview problems based on this. Okay, thank you.